Welcome to BC Procast, episode 49.
49.
49. We are here, living
We're
our
here.
life, doing our best things.
Doing what we
Getting
love.
closer and closer to our special, episode number
I know.
52, 1 year anniversary. Wow, the time is flying. We officially, in this moment in time, I'm kind of scared to say it because don't want to go the other way, but we've hit over 300 subscribers.
We did. And guys, it was all because of you. Thank you guys so much.
302 currently. So let's our 1 year anniversary. We'll talk about how much we officially gained within 1 year.
Yeah.
Which I did a little bit of the math. It's pretty cool. But we are here.
We're here just living life. And thank you guys for allowing us to do this every single day. We're able to do what we love. I can't wait till like that would happen. That's weird to say out loud.
That's crazy. Do you actually think that
That would happen?
like you would actually want that?
I think that'd be awesome. Because I think that if that is like a possibility, I feel like it would allow us to like talk to other people and create more of an atmosphere of where it's just like a chill. We'd have our own studio. It would be so much, um, not easier, but it would be. I feel like it would be just calm and just like, hey, we're just chilling with the boys. You know what I'm saying?
Be nice.
I can even call you my coworker.
Oh yeah,
Isn't
that'd be weird.
That'd be kind of weird. Yeah. I work with Braedon.
Ryan, what do you do? That'd be crazy, guys. Make it happen, please. Support us. In fact, there was a guy I was talking to. He said that he could make us like shirts.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like I know him, and he's like a thing. Anyway, one thing I was so recently, we have the drum set, and we've had a lot of struggle with tuning the toms because any drummer out there knows.
Oh, tell us what we need.
I'm gonna go off right now.
Yep.
And then but while I'm doing it, I want you to think of like a random rant.
Random rant?
Like something that you just like you step on your soapbox.
Oh, okay.
And you just go off. So I'll say some stuff.
Well, I want to listen to what you have to say. Just to say what you have to say.
So I'm like working to try to get this done, and other people at the church also are working probably as much as me on it as well. The thing that bothers me is that a lot of tuning drums, it's based on preference.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's based on your preference. So you can tune it to get like a tone, a tune. You want to, like, one thing that you can aim for is a doom, doom, doom. Like notes, doom, doom, doom. Or doom, 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 doom.
Yeah.
Or doom, doom, doom. Or doom, 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 doom. Anyways, it has to be notes. But
by the way,
that,
you hit those notes great.
Thank you. It's based on preference. So if you think it sounds good, then it's good. But like that doesn't always mean it sounds good with like the musicians or like we're working with like live stream and stuff like that. And I'm not mad at anyone, but it's just like it's hard because you're like, man, I think this sounds good, and then you're like, but does it sound good? But like, and then you're, I don't know. Tuning drums is a difficult thing. Do you have your rant right now or no?
No.
So that's bothersome. Anyway, we brought out a guy. Because my Uncle Larry is awesome, and he's been working endlessly on like just the whole live stream and thing like that. Shout out Uncle Larry, spectacular what he does, very hardworking. He brought out his friend, and his friend started like tuning our drums. And sorry, it's a little later. He started tuning the drums and like getting stuff in order. He's also like giving me notes and telling me stuff about drumming. But one thing that we were talking about a lot of different like old bands I don't even know, and like songs I don't even know, but they were like both freaking out about like drumming and this and that. And one thing that's like crazy to see, and like I think as a musician you can relate to this, is that sometimes like you see something that's really creative and you go, what made them think to do that for a song? Because like simple, like for drums there's a 4/4, there's a 6/8, and those are two very big time signatures, especially like in the Christian world. And it's like, what can you do with a 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5. I mean, I
Yeah.
kind of sped up there at the end. But the idea is like you add accents on different things, but you see someone and like their creativity shows through of how to play, like for myself, the drums in that way. So I
Mm.
guess the idea is like that we can talk about on is like, and I feel like I always talk about like art and creativity and inspiration, like these things that are like God's given us the ability to do. But like, where do you think like that creativity comes from? Because there's the idea like steal like an artist, where you innovate basically on an idea, like take it, make your own, make it better. There's this guy Casey Neistat, who I met. Shout out Casey Neistat. He's a huge YouTuber, and what he does, he buy like anything he buys, he makes his own. So it's more of
Mm.
his own than what was made. So like for example, I have this super cool phone case you guys see like pretty much every podcast.
It got him
Dude,
again.
it's so scary, man. Super cool phone case, but he would like take it and like engrave like his initials on it. Then he would take and like put stickers on it. Then maybe he'd rip off this piece and replace it with like wood. So it's more of like his own
Mm.
creation
Yeah.
than the product he bought. So it's like that's how you can like steal like an artist, like innovate on something that's already out there, but make it your own. So it's like creativity, like the idea of creativity. And so tying it to music, it's like and like tying it if you don't do music, but like tying it to everyday life if you're like a public speaker, like what's the best way to communicate these thoughts if you work in the trades, like what's the best way to maybe build this or
Yeah.
put this together or what's your system? Like you have to create a system of
Hmm.
processes that can lead to a desired outcome. It's like where do you like I don't
Yeah.
really have a question. I'd love to just hear your thoughts on like the idea of like that creativity. And you can speak specifically to music if you want, but it's like you just see something, you're like, oh my goodness, like I would
Yeah.
have never thought of that way. Does it come with like experience? Does it come with like
Yeah.
just knowing a lot of things? Is it come from just like dumb luck?
Yeah. Well, okay, so Ricky, the guy that you're about to meet, shout out Ricky. He so we were listening to what was the song that Jayla sang for the worship night?
Rest on us?
No, it was. Did you see the video? It was when we did it with that church or
I have
those
no idea.
people. Surrounded. There's a table. I can't remember, but it was like kind of like that type of song, right? It's just mid, not mid as like it wasn't good, but it was like mid tempo and stuff like that. And he was playing the song, and he was just playing by ear, and Jayla's singing, and it's just him on the piano and Jayla, and then it's me and this guy named Tim. Shout out Tim. And we were just going through our set, going through what we were thinking about doing, and he was playing, and all of a sudden he did these runs that I was like, oh my gosh, I would have never in a million years, if I would just had that keyboard, and never in a million years would I do those runs that he did. But it sounded so good, and he kept doing it. He kept doing it. He was just having fun. He was just enjoying what he's great at, and he's such a great musician and a great singer. But so we got in the car, and then Jayla was like, "It's crazy." Well, I was like, "Oh my word, he play the piano?" Because he was taking like this chill song and making it so much fun, or making it like just lively. And he was like, and what Jayla said, I was like, that's what it is. He, she said, he really knows his instrument like the back of his hand. So she's like, it literally was just like he was just flowing. He was just hearing it and he was just going. But he knows exactly what the keyboard does and what it sounds like. So he's just able to add on to it. And so I think it comes with us experience. But also, I was reading this book and it was talking about in the business world, I believe. It was retaining the business world, but it was talking about ideas and creating ideas and stuff like that. And it said that 2% of 100% of the population of the group, 2% will think of an idea. I can't remember what the next one is, but it's getting that idea early, like going after that idea early. Like let's say you're the 2% and you create this idea. I go, oh my goodness, that's a great idea. I'm gonna start doing that now, and I'm gonna change it up now. That's like the early. That's like early. That's a small percentage. The middle percentage is 60%. That's like mid. Oh, yeah, I see that it works. I see that what it's doing. I'm gonna take it now before it's too late. and then it was, I think it's 8% was the last it, and it was too late. You did it super late. And it basically was just talking about how change is how people are scared of change, and what like how people think. And it was crazy to see that 2% of people of a population will think of a new idea. And I think that you have to have like this mindset of taking I you recently asked the question, or maybe someone asked us, but they were like, what is a product you would make? No, you might have asked me that, but also in class, in this business class, he was like, give me an idea that you may have like late at night was just like, oh my goodness, this would be awesome. And he asked every class. He asked it in the earlier time, like when you first attend class, and he asked it on like last day. So first day and last day, just so that way, because first day some people may not feel comfortable, but the last day he will also ask. And he says that it's very very rare. Like when he asks a question, he gives it a lot of time, but he goes, all right. And he goes, and I asked him, I was like, so why do you ask that? Because I'm just so curious. And he goes, because if I find someone who's a thinker, if I find someone who can develop ideas and think of that, they are very very valuable to a team. And he's like, thinking of a new idea is a underrated. I don't think he said the word underrated because I feel like that's my term, but it's such an underrated skill to think of something brand new. And I was so amazed by what he said, and he was just so chill about it. He was like, yeah. And when I find them, I ask him a bunch of questions, and I ask how their product works, and like why they thought of that and stuff like that. And he goes, it never fails to fascinate me. And I was like, man, that is so good.
Never fails to fascinate me. That's a good
Yeah,
phrase.
yeah. And I was always jealous of people who thought of like brand new things, because it's definitely such a talent. It's a talent to think of brand new ideas. If you can think of brand new ideas, comment below, because we'll fly you out. Hopefully you're not far, but we'll fly you out. Because those minds are crazy. Those minds are like superhero minds. What is like an idea that you thought of that like you did have one? What was the idea that you thought of?
That got
Yes.
created.
Yeah.
Do you know the air up bottles
Yes.
where you
Yeah. The
smell
smell.
but you're drinking water?
Hmm.
You guys can think all you want, but I'm telling you, I came up with that idea before Air Up came out with it. I just obviously never did anything with it, but 100% I came up with that idea. No, that was the very like it was a great like story you said.
Yeah. Um, so to like going off of like music, whenever I hear someone do something super creative, I think okay, this might be a spicy take, but I think you're a true musician when you have your own style. I think that's when you're a true musician. Because like how you speak, right? Or maybe how you sing or something like that. You may be mimicking someone, or you may be seeing someone and you're like trying to replicate that. I used to do that a lot with Shawn Mendes, where I would try to like hit his notes, try to
Like
do
how he
his
breathes and all
yeah,
that stuff.
do his thing, like to the point where sometimes if I do sing, I notice myself still like going after those things. Choosing keys that are way too high for anyone. But what I what I realized is with piano, I've started to learn how the instrument works. I just did. Like I feel like now I know how the piano works. I couldn't even explain to you how I had this breakthrough, but one night I was just practicing, I was just playing, and I was doing Worthy of It All or something like that, and I was just playing that song. No lyrics, no singing, but I was just playing it. And all of a sudden it just hit me, and I like almost knew exactly what I needed to do and how to do that. And rhythmic beats always messed me up. So like if someone, usually arpeggio is like when you roll it up, and that could be classified as a rhythmic beat. But there's one that's like, have you heard the song So Close? So close. there's like a melody line that goes with it, and I can't explain to it. But it's like dun 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 dun, and you like go down, up, up, down, up, down, up, up. Yeah, you do like this. You do. It's no longer just you're rolling up, but you're actually now moving your hands now into this piece. And I remember I was playing, and I just felt the I felt like I had the knowledge to move around my hands in such a smooth way that I've never felt ever. And I've never lost it in that sense. So like I randomly just had a breakthrough with piano, and I felt like I now know it.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, like any skill or any talent you've been given or you've been working on for a long period of time or using, there comes this time where it's like riding a bike. And like when I
Mm,
hear that, I'm like, oh yeah, ride a bike. But if you think about riding a bike, that's kind of like crazy to do.
yeah.
Like you're on two wheels, you're balancing, and you're moving and pedaling. And it's I feel like riding a bike, you get on, and it's like it's not something you completely explain.
Mm,
Like you get on a bike, you start riding, and you're like, yeah. Like how do you not fall over? You're like, well, it's I'm moving and
yeah.
are you balancing on the bike? Not really, but like,
Yeah,
and
it is
any
so
smart
weird.
person right now is like, are you dumb? Like this is how it works. But like,
Yeah.
it's like something unexplainable. So it's like when I go to sit on the drum set and I'm playing, I go, and I'm
Dum,
just
dum,
like,
dum,
yeah, but
dum,
I'm just like
dum.
there, and I'm like, and I get off and then get back on and like do different things, get off and like there's people that don't know how to play drums how'd you keep something like so simple like that? And I feel like you hit that marker. And I felt as though I hit that marker a little bit for like I think the two things I've done the longest when it comes like a skill or like a talent or an activity. I think the two longest thing has probably been like drums and
Mm,
then probably like soccer.
mm.
And I feel soccer, like, no wonder people that as they get older, they're better at soccer, even if they don't have the fitness, just because
Yeah.
you know how the game works and you're confident on the ball. But like drums, I feel like I've been doing even longer and more just
Mm,
because soccer is like their season stuff, but drums, like, it's like every Sunday and and then also during the week and then every once in a while here and there. But
wow.
when you do it so often, it like clicks where like it just makes sense. And I might not have all the abilities to do like the crazy fast speeds and the rolls and like the fills and different accents and different like offbeat rhythms or like the different time signatures. But like you go, oh, just play the song. And I'm like, I can do that and figure it out without,
Yeah.
having some knowledge. And it's cool to hear that maybe you've hit that within the time you've been using your piano musician. Like my thing to you is like keep that grind, keep that like
Yeah.
persistence going, because you will get to a spot where you feel as though you're just good enough,
Mm,
and like you don't want to just be good enough. You don't want to be good. You want to be
yeah.
even like a awesome player. You want to be like a great player. You want to be like
Yeah.
something out sustaining, something that like people go, oh, like he
Yeah.
like he can be trusted, and not for like your own glory, because obviously we play instruments, we play in like the setting of like worshiping God, but like
Right.
you don't want to have a gap of like lack of knowledge and preparedness in your
Mm,
skill when it comes to those events when you're playing
yeah.
and worshiping. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there
Right.
does take a level of like professionalism and level of technique and level of like skill when you go do that stuff. You shouldn't be like, yeah, but it's like, all right. Like, it should be
Yeah.
something that's prepared for God, because He is deserving of like, not perfection, but like someone well
Your
prepared
best. Yeah.
and your best. So it's like you don't want to have a large gap or even have a gap between like skill ability and like the requirements for the song or something.
Mm, yeah. It's actually very fascinating because I always forget. I always forget that as I grow up soccer, like if I played a varsity high school player right now at the skill level that I feel like I'm at right now, I feel like I would do great. And but I also felt like I shouldn't though. In a way of like they practice all the time. They're constantly going at it. But then when I see them, I go, I would have taken that ball from you. But when I'm in it, I'm like, oh, I'm nowhere near that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's so mind-boggling that that's like a thing. That's like something like basketball, for example. I stunk, and I actually I would have went to the NBA if I didn't get cut twice. My coach was the one who didn't want me to go to the NBA,
Mm.
but uh I stunk. Like I was not good. But then as I like grew up, I felt like if I put my skill level where I'm at and I took that 1 year that I really focused on it and put it into like younger Caden and with the same IQ, I felt like it would have been a whole different game. And I don't understand why.
Yeah. So I have this thought. Going down a rabbit hole here. So I have this thought on that alone, like skill. So I think the reasons like why people get caught or something like that is not because you're bad,
Mm,
but you haven't done it as long. Does that make sense? Like you
yeah.
can go up, take a shot, make a three, and then another person comes up, takes a shot, and makes three. I think you can tell the difference between someone who just worked his butt off for 1 year and who's been working their butt off or just playing for like 5 years. I
Yeah.
think you see that difference. So this is my like one thought. So like for example, Bronny James is now in the league, and
Mm,
there's LeBron. Bronny James has stated, okay, so like there's a basketball player, his son, there's a father and son in the NBA right now, LeBron James, and then Bronny James, his son. And Bronny has stated he doesn't think he's going to be like a star. He knows he's going to be a solid role player, like on defense. So this is my takeaway. He's not like anything outstanding, and there's such a large gap between like backup quarterbacks and starting quarterbacks.
yeah.
There's a lot of big separation between bench players on basketball teams and starting players. There's just a lot of big difference when it comes to physical ability
Yeah.
between like the first place and like backup.
Right.
And I go, like there has to be a level of genetics being involved
Mm,
because you can give as much time or a lot of time to a thing and that builds your skill. But if the same person gives the same amount of time and they have just like the more innate ability, they're going to
yeah.
be better. But also, I think the other thing too is like, you know, could I have made a professional soccer team if I simply, since the age of 3 years old, played soccer every single day, just played soccer every single day, was on a bunch of teams and played all year round.
Mm,
Like, and I'm not like any special ability. I'm kind of contradicting what I just said earlier, but this is like my thought that like clicked through. Like I was thinking about Bronny James specifically.
yeah.
Like he's not anything great. I think what makes you great and stand apart is like I think your genetic or your innate ability.
I see what
But
you're
like, can
saying.
you simply just do something for long enough and given enough time that it will give you your desired outcome?
I see what you're saying.
And I
Yeah.
think the answer is yes. I think if you work hard at anything and you're determined and you give it the time,
Yeah.
like you can achieve anything in life. But then once you achieve it, I think what separates you from being like achieving your goal and succeeding and surpassing and being great,
Yeah.
there has to be like this innate ability or genetics or like this deeper, like there has to be something else.
Yeah.
Because if I started from 3 years old and played soccer every single day, like I think there's like prodigies and then there's just people that work really hard
Yeah.
and they say you'll always beat out talent if you work if you outwork talent. Like people that are talented will always come up short if they don't work hard,
Hmm.
but you can always beat someone who is talented because you work hard and they don't. But it's just like if you do something long enough and give enough time and dedication, like you will then achieve that. So if that's the mindset, say I have a child, a boy, and I'm like I want him to be a professional soccer player. Simply, if that's like the way things work in this way, every single day I just make him,
Right.
and hopefully he comes to love it, play soccer.
Hmm.
Won't he get to the level and ability by freshman year or sophomore year that he could start being looking at for college teams to then go professional?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or am I wrong? Like,
No,
is that
I
not how it works? Because there has to be more.
so okay, so as you're saying that, I immediately started thinking about Kobe Bryant and I was like, he was amazing. He was great. Why isn't he the greatest? Because you hear about Michael Jordan
Yeah.
and he just practiced really, really hard. But then he also said that he was lazy at sometimes. He was just determined, like his mind, but also he was freakishly talented, like freakishly. And I think Kobe Bryant might have been oh man, I there was an interview where he was playing his own old teammate, and he was like, yeah, Kobe, and this is before like things, so he wasn't trying to get any like any like views for this. But he was like, yeah, Kobe would work really, really hard, but he still wasn't like the best player in our team. And I think he was his high school teammate, and but the thing is he just worked constantly hard, and so, and then he got to the NBA, and he's absolutely phenomenal. But the thing is why hasn't he been like considered the GOAT, or why isn't he the GOAT? You know what I'm saying? And I think that when it comes to genetics and stuff, I think a hardworking, genetically freaked out dude is like the prime of it.
Yeah.
And but I also think that the hardest workers also are right below that. I think it's freakishly genetic, hardworking are top. That's your Michael Jordan, that's your LeBron James. That's like the people that you would put up. I'd even put Kobe Bryant up there as well. Steph Curry, you would put up there. We would put up there and stuff like that. And but then you look at like hard workers. You see Jimmy Butler, absolutely wasn't even so. He was a D2
You say like
college.
Jalen Brunson as
Yeah,
well too.
Jalen Brunson, even Curry wasn't even like he wasn't even
Kyrie,
Curry.
Steph Curry.
Yeah,
Oh, did you say Kyrie the first one?
I don't know.
Genetics. All right,
I don't
sorry.
know. I don't.
Maybe I
I'm
misheard you.
sorry. But it's like the hardest workers will get there. They will get there. It's just the freakishly talented ones are seen first, and I think that's like because like if you have a son and he's working and he's going after it, I feel like I don't see why it wouldn't happen. You know,
Yeah,
because he's gonna get comfortable with the ball. How many hours does it say to master a skill?
I think they say like 10,000 hours.
And if he actually like puts that in, I just saw a video with Cristiano Ronaldo, who made the ball look like he was controlling it with his mind, just like how he was messing around with it,
Yeah,
where he like flicked it up, he looked away, knowing where the ball was gonna be. The ball came down, he caught it between his legs, and he did like this like weird kick, and he knew exactly where it was going.
yeah,
That is like that is the 10,000 hours at
yeah.
something.
I think it's funny because like we're talking about like, or I'm like oh my goodness, like I just thought of this idea, but like think about it, it's like I think anyone knows that if you give time and dedication to anything, you'll succeed. Like one thing, and this could be like one of the things we end on is that I was listening to a podcast and Donald Trump was on it, and they were asking him with Dave Ramsey was asking him, like, how are your children so successful?
Mm,
And he goes, oh, and he's kind of talking a little bit. He's like, no, but like, how are they successful? Like, obviously, he's he has a lot of family, but he goes, well, first of all, told him no drinking, no. He goes, no alcohol, no drugs, no cigarettes. He goes, none of that stuff. We don't do any of that stuff. But the other thing he said, he's like, you have to love what you do. And this is coming
mm,
from a multi
yeah,
multi-billionaire
right.
who's also was former president, going to be a new one. And he was talking about like you have to love what you do. He's like, I've seen it way too much myself. If you don't love what you do, it's not going to be successful. And that's coming
Mm,
from a guy that's at the very top. Like he's like, you want to wake up each day and want it. And it's like, man, like all these people grinding on things they don't like.
yeah,
Donald Trump, the guy who's made it, he goes, you're not going to be successful because you
right.
don't love it. And the other thing he said, he's like, I think it's just like genetics. He goes, I think like, your parents have like it's in like he didn't say this, but like I'm saying is like there's stuff that is in your DNA that you're
Mm-hmm.
more inclined to, that you're better at. Like I know for myself, like I have to work so much harder maybe in like the workout realm to do maybe a handstand push up. And then my random friend who like hasn't been working out that much and like it's genetically freak. I can't even do a handstand push up where you're standing on your hands and you go down, you come back up without having your feet on anything at the wall. People work a
Mm-hmm.
lot to get at that. And he tried it, messed up the first time because he messed up his balance, went up the second time and did one straight down and then up. with no one
Yeah,
there.
that's crazy.
Like that's just genetics. And like,
Yeah.
when's the last time you worked out? I haven't worked out for the last few weeks or something like that. Like, have you ever try to work on handstands? No, you know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
just like
Just
that. People are
clicks.
built different.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a
Yeah.
lot to think on though.
I think it's cool. Like if you're and that goes out. If you're genetically skilled at anything, and that could be you're genetically skilled at writing, you're genetically skilled at playing an instrument. You're genetically enhanced in a certain way. Like learn to either love that because you will be outstanding, like what we were saying before is like if you're genetically a freak but you're also work hard at it, like you will shock yourself of how fast you think, because I think when you're genetically like that, you think faster, and you when you it just comes, it clicks to you. So if you actually comment that down, I'm actually curious of like who what what is your genetically, what would you say, what are you genetically good at?
Inclined to
Yeah.
maybe feel like, I don't know.
Because dude, if I found out that I was genetically something, whether that is, I would seriously just like work at that and fall in love with
Yeah,
it.
and I think, we can't test our blood and do all that stuff. I think a way to find out on that,
Yeah.
and I think I've heard this before a long time ago, to like find out what you should do for like a business and stuff. Yeah, that's what I heard. Find out what you should do for a business, find out what you're good at. Talk to your friends and your family. Say, hey, what do you
Mm,
think I'm good at? And pick the thing that a lot of your friends and family say. That's what
wow.
you should do. And that's the thing you can lean into if you're wanting to like do something on your own, or
Yeah.
like just wanting to like lean into something that you think you're like naturally good at.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, you should ask. One of my favorite things that you've asked me is what type of superhero do you think I'd be? And I was like, that's a great question. And so I like gave you my answer, but
Oh
you
yeah.
like asked more people, and I think that's a way that you can self-reflect. Would you count that as self? I think you can count that as self-reflecting,
Yeah.
but I think it's just a great way. Just be honest with someone, or someone to be honest with you, and just be like, you know what, you're doing. You'd kill it at this.
I want to do this. I haven't enacted it, but I want us to ask people how they truly feel about you
Mm,
more. I want to be like, hey, Caeden, like, what do you think my best qualities are? What do you think of
mm,
me? One, you have to watch it because you don't want to like build confidence or cocky. Or maybe my call out is like share your thoughts about how you feel about people, positive thoughts more. Like if
mm,
Caden, if I think something of you highly, I want to challenge myself to share that more
yeah,
because people want to be people like to hear nice things about them, and also
mm,
they don't always know how people feel about them,
yeah,
and it only is lightening them up, light lifting them up,
yeah,
along with like spreading love,
right,
which God's all about. That's my challenge. My challenge
yeah,
to you is to go up to 5 people, 3 people this week.
mm,
You're feeling courageous, 3 people, and like tell them something like you love about them, that you admire about them.
yeah. I think that's a beautiful challenge. You're gonna feel great about yourself too, because man, just complimenting people and seeing them smiles, it's honestly amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this has been episode B. Dude,
Dude,
see,
what
I
are you
don't know
doing,
why
man,
it's
dude?
every
It's
single
like every
time.
time.
Dude, this has been episode
Every time, bro.
49 of the BC Procast. Um, we have fueled your curiosity.
Just double checking.
We have oh okay. We've been feeling we fueled your curiosity, um, and had a great conversation about creativity. I think it was such a great perspective on it. Even if we've talked about talents and stuff like in art and stuff like that, I felt like this was a great perspective. But we fueled your curiosity. Make sure that you like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. Literally just let and if you hear me, I should have said it in the beginning for the next one. Just maybe just play the video and just let your phone just do its thing. Just let it run, and then watch it again and let it run and like. But thank you guys for getting us to 300 subscribers. That is seriously such a mind blowing thing to think that it's like 300 subscribers. It's such a blessing. we don't take it lightly. We are very, very thankful. And make sure that if you haven't prayed today, make sure you pray. Make sure you are honest with God, and just ask for the desire to get to know Him more. That's my recent prayer, and it's been working. It's amazing. Um, but yeah, that was BC Procast episode 49. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.